What's up, everybody? Well, nobody's here yet. All right, let's see if I can't get this thing in the cradle, and we'll go from there. Hey, look, I just got an alert that I'm live. How funny is that? Hey, perfect. What's going on, everybody? We have a seat here. Now, I don't really have a reason for why I'm going live today. It's mostly just because it's been a while since we've done this, and I kind of thought, man, there's been a lot going on, and just thought might as well go live and kind of discuss what's up with Olympus and what's happening around here. And if you guys have any questions about what's going on, we'll do that and talk about some snakes and some reptiles. So, oh, congratulations, Stephen. Anytime I see somebody's got a new girlfriend, you gotta congratulate them on that shit, right? Yes, actually, JHI Mojave is already cooking. So not only has it been paired, they've already been laid. We've actually had 4 clutches laid so far, and that would be, of course, none of those snakes that laid are here. We're in the transition to the new house. Everything that lays goes to the new house. All the new animals are at the new house, like the gaboon vipers at the new house. All the rattlesnakes are at the new house. Everything's over there in the reptile house. And I did not build my racks here. They are TGR racks, which I absolutely love. Oh, well, awesome, Dim Studios. I really am happy to hear that. That is great. So, and good, Matt. I'm glad to hear that's doing awesome. The Darkness, David, she's doing good. She ate this week. She's like the most confusing snake that I have, so I never know what is up with her. That gaboon, I do think, is awesome. And you guys understand, man, that was one of my dream snakes, right? So I really, really have always wanted one of those. And then when the opportunity came up, I had to like jump through a bunch of hoops and make sure to get all the approvals in line and get everything set up. And once we had that, we were able to do it. And boom, there it is. So I really like that gaboon. It's very, very, very healthy. It's feeding for us. It started feeding right away. And it's just an amazing animal to watch. So it's great. Uh, the spider bananas, if they have calico, you should have a high white up the sides and a lot of white. Forkle, somebody asked if Ryan Forkle used to work with us. He worked at, he subcontracted for the retail shop I'm a part of. So he's never done any work or worked for Olympus Reptiles at all. But he did do shows for Manhattan Reptile World for the retail shop. 2 separate entities. Well, thank you, Sin. I appreciate that. Uh, oh, and I also for some a big help to Snake World. I don't know about that. I'm just the guy that's here. Wait, with then it probably does have some calico. Let it shed a few times and make sure. And thank you, Brimstone. And where can you see what we had to buy? Right now, there's really nothing listed. Everything will go to Patreon first, and our list will go to Patreon. So the way we do things is simply this. So, like, we have a set of eggs. Like, I still have Clutch 17 from 2018 to post. We will post it on Patreon. And if it doesn't all sell on Patreon, then we will end up, eventually taking it to a show. And I own part of Manhattan Reptile World, Caleb, a piece. 25%, Kurtos 25%, so together we own half. All the reptiles, ball pythons are all completely separate, though. So it'll go to Patreon, and then it'll go to a show. When we have enough left, we'll take the show. And if things go to a show and don't sell, then we will post them online. So that's kind of the process it goes. We also keep lists on Patreon. We post every now and then, and we go from there. And I don't personally have an Instagram page, but Olympus Reptiles does. I am trying to post on there more. Actually, the last thing I posted was a really bitchin' shot of our gaboon viper. So I kind of need to check that out. Oh, you posted 0. Oh, yeah, I did, Caleb. I'm actually, that's awesome. That footage, I'll tell you something about that footage. We don't use that footage yet until we get the approval from Tanganyika. So I'm glad that you mentioned we did do that. Because we want to make sure and show them how they want to be shown. It's very important to me to do that. That place is awesome, though, if anybody's never been. I literally got to feed a rhinoceros. Like, I don't even know what to say. Like, And it wasn't because of me. They'll let anybody do that. So you have to go there and check that place out. Unfortunately, when we did that, our audio microphones broke. That was the day they failed. And we had to go back to the shotgun mic, but we didn't notice. All of our audio was ruined, so it took so long time to get that video ready. But it has been sent to Tanganyika, so hopefully they like it. And if they do, then we will release it here. Because I can tell you, I had an awesome day there. And, oh, the Lemur Island. Oh, man, that places like Tanganyika, just, they're what are going to make people be animal people, right? So I think they're just a staple of what we need, and that park is so clean. Everybody is completely friendly. I mean, when I watched the owner walk around with us, taking us around, he would stop to pick up the smallest piece of trash. When your owner's willing to do that and do that grunt work without even thinking about it, just like as he's talking, you can tell he does it all the time. That told me everything I needed to know about that particular park. And we do ship reptiles, and actually any tier, $5 and up, will get you access to the early release on Patreon. So it's kind of neat. The zoo would not have my racks set up. They are, I mean, you'd have to get a hold of me and have to work with my schedule because I have a day job too. And all my animals are kept off-site, with the exception of a handful of things that are in the zoo. Like my green tree python is currently in the zoo, and I personally own a lot of the venomous snakes that are in the zoo. Not all, but a lot. So there's that. What's going on, Todd? So okay, I am going to address your question, Joe, and I laughed at it because it just, I guess I'm getting to be an old timer, and I don't know how I'm getting to be an old timer. But when I first got into this on a level where I was going to have multiple snakes, it was the exact opposite. If somebody was keeping snakes in glass aquariums, Facebook would lose its shit and go all like medieval on them and tell them they were the horrible, most worst keeper, and that this is the only way to go. Now it seems to have flip-flopped. Here's the truth, okay? This is a great way to keep ball pythons if you're going to breed them. It is fantastic. It's fantastic for them, and it's fantastic for me as a keeper. So, someone's moving to Manhattan? Oh, definitely. It's an awesome town, and I hope the zoo doesn't disappoint. It's not real huge. I know David W.'s on here. He's been there. He can tell you a little bit about it. But if you're going to breed, I prefer this. It's easier to clean. It's easier to maintain them properly. They feed well in these, and it does provide everything they need. It just does. Ball pythons, though, are going to be different than other snakes. So it's going to be different per species. Depends on what kind of boa. I mean, if you get a really big rack, they make some that can hold some boas. And you get a huge red tail female, it's a little hard. But if I had just a single display animal, I'd probably do a display cage. And you can do it right either way. And that's what gets me about the world today is everybody's like, oh, it's got to be this way or you're wrong, or it's got to be this way or you're wrong. It's not that way. You can do it both, It just depends on what you're wanting to do, what you're wanting to achieve, and what works best for you. I have to have something to drink. It makes me crazy. That's good. I mean, and I think a male will, but you get a female that's 10 feet. It's, if you have to go with those big racks, but then you start doing some issues. The new cage for the Gaboon Viper, man, that's really not even fair. I don't know what it would actually cost. And the reason is, one of the advantages to owning part of the shop is anything that comes into, like if I need a cage, I will buy that from the shop. What's up, Cody? I will buy that from the shop or through the shop at the shop's cost. So it does allow me to save a lot on equipment and things like that when I need a single cage like that. So I don't know what it would really cost. I know our whole setup, we had like $180 in it. That's just me. So everyone got to get back to work. I didn't see the question. Well, thank you. I like the cage. Just going to outgrow it though. So I will have to go bigger, much, much bigger. I can see your comment, Shay. Let's not disappearing. My most anticipated clutch of the season. Oh, shit. That changes every day, But truthfully, it's probably this girl right here. Come here, baby girl. Oh, come here, mama. Now, she hasn't laid yet, but she's looking like she's going to this year. And she's probably going to be my most anticipated again. And the reason is because Yeah, she is pretty thick. She is a pastel het exanthic, and she's been bred to Zeus. So my hope is, of course, for some killer bee exanthics, which has always, always, always been a dream of mine. So that's probably why this is my most anticipated clutch. But there's so many other things too that I'm working on, you know, that are like highly anticipated. This girl here, I probably won't pull her out. I'll probably show her to you in there because she's starting to get the, you know, the side look would be the best way to describe it. But that girl there, which is of course our Calico Blitz, the Klitz, and you can see it a little more. You can see those colors on her. She is gorgeous. Camera does not do her justice at all. You know, that I'm really excited about because it is connected to a banana black pastel. So there's a lot of cool stuff for there. And of course, people are always saying the darkness, so I'll show her to you. Get her out there. You kind of see that sheen with her there. Really beautiful. And we don't know what she is. I mean, I bred her myself. So that's an exciting one. And everybody loves the Klitz. Somebody gets my humor. So that one's really exciting. This one's another exciting one for me. Maybe not for everybody. And that's just because she's actually het for snow. So I really would like to do a snow. I've never made a snow. So hitting some of those double recessives would be extremely exciting. This is another exciting one. She was our cover girl today. And that is because she's a black pastel. And of course, this is where we're going to do some weird incubation stuff and see what we can do. She's paired to a banana black pastel. So I'm really hopeful that that works out. You know, I mean, so there's a lot. Hey, come here, thing. There's a lot of clutches that I am really excited about. You know, I'm excited to prove out my champagne possible calico that we put to a lesser pastel. That would be really cool. So yeah, you know, you can make your own. I think those Exoterras and that Exoterra incubator, I've got one. As a matter of fact, I plan on using it for that black pastel clutch. Here's a kicker on them. If you just set the temp and go, well, I'm there, you're going to fail with that thing. It's not going to work. You have to check the temp in the tub and get it right and adjust that. So it's kind of there. Now, Nicholas, on your question, am I worried? I'm not going to live in fear every day about what a bunch of dumbass politicians choose to do. And I'm just not. You know, I think at the end of the day, reason tends to win out. And I think there's a lot of fear mongering right now. And I'm not that worried about it. You know, I'm really not. Truth be told, this country has much bigger fish to fry than trying to worry about keeping of reptiles. There is some rules that probably need to be passed to be responsible on some things, but you know, I don't think there's very many of them. Most of the time, local laws take care of that. Most of the time, local laws, I personally feel, overstep what they should do, mostly by misunderstanding. But I think more and more and more people get into reptiles. I think this hobby is growing at a rate that is just amazing. And I think as more and more and more people get into it, there's going to be less and less backlash from politicians. Because right now, for a politician, it's easy to say, oh, these terrible snakes. Nobody loves snakes. We should murder all snakes. Rah! Nobody should have that. And that's popular. But as the reptile industry grows and grows and grows, you know, and it gets more and more popular, that's going to be a lot less popular thing to say. And we'll always be able to speak with our votes and our voice. And if we ever had a politician here that was trying to ban some shit, you can bet I'd be very, very vocal, very, very outspoken. But we don't. And I'm not really worried. Now, that being said, USARC's a great organization, and it goes to fight stupid legislation. Perfect, as they should. But that's just kind of where I am on it. And Devin, on Boas or retics in our future, I don't know. Boas might be in our future, but if we do Boas, it's going to be very, very kind of weird. And what I mean is Boas, I don't want Boas in my python room. I am terrified of inclusion body disease, and Boas can be a carrier. So because I'm terrified of it, I don't want them here. So we currently have a couple Boas, so we may end up breeding them, but they're at Kurt's house. So they would be there. We will need to do some filming there sometimes. But yeah. And yeah, a boa can be a great first snake. I'd recommend a male. The size is more manageable. I'm talking a red tail here. Amazon tree boas are really cool, but they're nippy little bastards, so you might stay away from them. Oh, the 1.0, 0.1, that's male, female. So people just use that. Sometimes you'll see three numbers, and the three numbers is, one's male, one's female, one's unknown. So that's kind of where that is. So we may get into boas. I do not see retics or berms in our future at all. I just think they take up too much space. I also personally, it's a personal thing. When I go to a show and I'm selling the snake to somebody, I always want to make sure that they can handle what I'm selling them. It's another reason why I only have one dwarf caiman. I don't plan on breeding them right now. Is if I sell somebody a ball python, I know that they can do that. I know they can. And if I sell somebody a berm, now in the shop, it's not such a bad thing in the retail shop. We'll carry them there. And I have somebody's like, oh, I want that baby retic. I'm like, cool. Come here and look at this. That's an adult. And they go, oh, I'm like, now that they see it, it's a lot different than hearing it. And some of them will be like, yeah, I'm cool with that. All right, awesome. But a lot of them will say, oh, maybe I want a corn snake. There you go. So where the hell have I been? I've been popping videos out. I've been busy, man. And they are a lot of work. But it's got to be, Devin, it's got to be the right people. It's kind of like dwarf caiman. My caiman's an asshole to work, and he hates my guts. He breaks stuff. He does this all the time, and I have to go in there and deal with it and fix him. And he's trying to bite me. Like, that's why in the last video you see I'm soaked, because I had to go fight with him, and he splashed water all over me. And they're not appropriate for most people. Like, you can't dedicate that time to it. They're not appropriate. If you can, then they are. So it's kind of one of those things. In New Jersey, I don't, but you're not far from Nerd. Hit up Nerd. They're up there somewhere. Ashley, I think you got your hands full. All right, guys. So here is where we are on kind of the state of Olympus. My most tame snake. Oh, shit, man. They're all pretty tame in here, really. There's none that are not tame. I'll show you my favorite one. How would that be? Oh, you're in shed. Never mind. He's in shed. I'll show you this one. He's pretty cool. But they're ball pythons. Ball pythons are not bitey. They're just usually not. Of course, banana black pastel, one of our breeding males. So, yeah, Zeus is the one that's in shed. So I yanked this guy out. I want to let Zeus set and have a good shed. But, really cool. So, yeah, it's pretty awesome. I like bananas, and the spots have grown on me. Get back in there, buddy. So, there's not one that you really... If you take a ball python and you work at it, typically they're going to be nice. Of course, there's always a few. This is the one that we have one of our most popular videos on. And even she's tamed down. Now, you'll see she stays stiff in her body. If I piss her off too much, she will bite me. This is one we always called the ghost bitch. And she's always ready. But she's way better than she used to be, because we've worked with her some and we tried. But I don't spend a lot of time working with her. So, you can spend time with one like this and she'd tame down just like anybody. But you can see she stays stiff because she wants to be ready to function should she feel the need to. That snake bit me quicker than any other snake I've ever owned, like literally in the first 30 seconds I had her. Yeah. Yeah, that's a spicy meatball. She was. Yeah, Kurt does. He actually did a video on him the other day. He definitely has some that are just pets. Now, they do produce, and sometimes the babies disappear, but they're not bred hard, and they're just his pets. And part of that was more of he's got some kids, and it's a great learning experience for kids when you're producing animals like that, and you're getting to see how that works and how that goes. So a part of that was that too, I think. But no, this is not Chandler's Wildlife, and you're not gonna ever see me like handle my Gaboon Viper freehand. You're not ever going to see me handle my rattlesnakes freehand. I'm not going to pick up a cobra and handle it freehand. It's not what I'm going to do. Not what I'm about. So, which snake did I catch? Somebody said that I caught that snake. There are some I've kept that I have caught, but some of the ones I have too were purchased in or other people have caught them and given them to me as well. I already have a Persephone is one problem. And, I don't watch his videos, so I really can't comment. I mean, all I've seen is little snippets, so I'm not going to say he's an idiot or he's not. I mean, part of it's what you do, what you want to do. You live life or die in your own thing. I also, I'll keep that too. I'll keep that under my hat. I know certain places and certain people that will do things that look really dangerous, but it's really not, because a lot of the things are venomoid. Not saying that's his case at all. I honestly do not know, but I do know of some places that, and there's one place I know of that is like that, and it's not because they actually want to be, it's because they were forced to be by the government where they're at. And that's kind of bullshit. Otherwise, they wouldn't be. But they are. So there's really nothing in there that's truly dangerous. Now they're going to move facilities across the county line where they don't have to do that shit anymore, which will be awesome. But I'd say the best morph to start out with, if I was going to start today, I wanted to give somebody a morph that I think looks good, isn't a huge investment in case they don't like it, would be probably like Lesser. And the reason for Lesser is a single gene Lesser is awesome looking. It can go well with almost any combo. Plus, it will get you into bells if you want. And there's two questions I saw I want to hit. One of them was, do I watch anybody else on YouTube? I do. I don't get enough time to watch people. I will catch a vlog here and there if it suits me. I like to catch a Cusco thing every now and then when I get a chance. And then I also really like, one of my favorite things to watch is DEA Exotics every night goes live, like every night. And I try to pop in there every now and then because like here, we get a lot of people in here and it rolls through and it's really hard for me to keep up with everybody. But there's less people and it's nighttime, so I can just kind of pop in for 15, 20 minutes, have a conversation, and that is really, really cool. So, and small scale rapping is worth it. Now, somebody asked what I think about Brian Barczyk, and since it was asked, I will answer that. I got no problem with the dude. Here's my 100% straight up take on Brian Barczyk. Plus, this is live, so I can't sugarcoat or get time to think about it. The fact is the guy perfect? Absolutely not. Neither am I. Neither are you. It's just the way it is. We wouldn't have the hobby we have had he not laid the groundwork. I wouldn't be talking to you right now had he not laid the groundwork. That's the truth, right? And I have personally shown Barczyk animals that he's never seen before. Like, I remember we were at a show in Chicago. I took him a couple of combos he'd never seen. And I literally watched his face light up like a child. So, he's all about the money. That's a bunch of horse shit. He gets excited about new animals. They're not even his. He gets excited. Now, is some of that for the camera? Maybe. I don't hang out with the dude every day. But when I saw him get excited, the camera wasn't even on. We showed it to him. He's like, oh, man. Oh, he got all excited. And then he's like, hey, can we do that? Put them in the vlog. Sure. That'd be cool. That was awesome. So we did get in the vlog one time. That was back when the vlog was kind of new, I think, and spinning off from the main channel. So, right, and when you look at some of these videos, if you ever get big enough for people to make videos about how much you suck, you've made it in life. That's just a fact, right? So, he is truly, that link though, but what I'm talking about seeing, you don't see on camera, because we first took him to him, it wasn't on camera. So it wasn't played for the camera. It wasn't an acting thing. It was literally just who he was. I can also tell you this. I've got Brian's number. And if I text Brian, I say, hey, man, I need help with this. Or, oh, check this out. He hits me back. And he's genuinely excited to see new animals. Like, the guy likes animals. I'm telling you, he's really into animals. So, I just think it's just kind of funny when I see a video that's like, and I did watch that one because I just was like, yeah, I'm just seeing all the hubbub is about. And I laughed. I thought, this is really the stupidest thing I've ever seen. You can look, they had to pull footage from like 20 years ago. You can tell by looking at him. The guy's hair's gotten kind of gray, right? Go look. And it's so laughable. Like, if you have to go back that far, it's kind of dumb. So, yeah. I don't know if a lot of the snakes are super defensive. That I've never gone to his facility. I've been invited. I haven't got there yet because, man, I'm busy as hell. But baby ball pythons are going to be defensive a lot of times. And so they'll strike and they'll do this and they'll do that. That's pretty normal. I don't see anything there, but truth be told, you're watching on camera. So, like, you're not going to see anything that's overly unhealthy on camera. And I love that. Well, his snake's got this and it's got this and it's got this, right? Blah, 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 blah. And he hasn't fixed it. Let's just take a second and use a little bit of common sense. Whether you think he's good with his animals or not, you have to admit the dude knows how to market, right? Knows how to market. You have to also admit that he's built a huge social media following, right? So, by doing those two things, you got to give him a credit on that aspect. And do you really think that somebody that's done that would take a snake that he thinks isn't healthy or knows isn't healthy or knows has a problem and purposely put that on camera? A lot. No. So it's obvious that it's, like, I take what he says, about his own animals because I want people to take what I say about my own animals. I understand what he's saying. Like, I totally get it. So I am a supporter of Brian's. Does that mean that I, like I say, think he's perfect? No, but I don't think I'm perfect either. There's your GHI Mojave. So, and Patreon is where to do it. This is also our own production or holdback from last year. I really couldn't be any happier with this girl. She's growing like a weed. She eats great. So, he is a businessman. So are we. Like, I'm not going to fault the guy for making a buck. That's how he feeds his family. Like, and also when he says, and I know people have said that, like, oh, he's making all this money on selling these snakes, and this is a bunch of crap, and he says he's not making any money on that. Guys, he's not making much money on selling snakes. He's really not. I believe what he's saying. Now, social media, sure, I don't know what it is, but I don't think it's on snakes. Reason is, yep, there's a lot of snakes for sale. He's got a lot of bills to pay. He's got employees to pay. Like, he's got a zoo he's paying. All that's getting reinvested. And I get that because we really are in the same boat. JKR doesn't, but JKR also, let's remember, okay, the haters come, here's where it comes from. And why do I get mad? I'm not mad. I don't really get mad very easily, actually. But the haters, where they come from is size. So if somebody's got a lot of following, then people get kind of butthurt because they, I get it. You'll be somewhere else like, well, Brian said, or well, I saw Brian say this, and it's like, well, you just asked me, I gave you an answer, and then you're like, well, Brian said, and that annoys people sometimes. So they end up, whoever has the biggest following tends to get a target. And JKR didn't have as big of a following from things like this as Brian does. None of us do. I mean, the guy's at 2 million plus subscribers, and he posts a video, and it's going to get, 60,000 views in 6 hours. So, it's just the way it is. And I agree, Ragnarok. When you have haters, you've made it. Blood pythons, man, I am not. Hold on. I am really curious what you're talking about, Poseidon. There's nobody being triggered here. I'm like the hardest person to trigger really in the world. As a matter of fact, if I want to get triggered, you'll know. Now, on the blood python thing, I'm not the best to ask about that. It's basically more of, I would have told you a while ago that blood pythons are mean, jerkies, everything, all that. But recently, I got to take a trip to Chicago, and I got to hang out with my man Corey from Chicago, or not Chicago. Oh, sorry. I got to take a trip to Colorado. Got my C's mixed up. Hang out with my man Corey out there at his place, and he has a blood python as sweet as pie. So it's kind of up to you, Oh my goodness. Where's my prices? You know what? Here we go. We're going to fix this dipshit. And bye. There we go. Problem solved. Why do I overprice my snakes? You can't even find one to buy online. That's pretty funny. I haven't been off the East Coast. The thing is, nobody's gonna miss that person. If you saw my block list, it's long because I just don't tolerate dumbasses. I mean, we could sit here, we could just have fun with whoever that is, but it's probably pointless. Yes, I did have a snake with the kink in the tail. I've actually had a few snakes that have had kinks, and kinks are going to happen when you breed a lot. Kinks are going to happen. So what we've done with those is one of them was a calider, so it was a spider calico that had a kink. Everything else functioned great, and that kink was up a little bit in its spine. So that snake is not suitable for breeding. I'm laughing at Ryan's arachnids. So what we did is we basically gave that snake a home. We had a person who'd been really kind to us over the years, and we gave that snake a home. And that's it. Oh, you're still here. This Isra. Maybe I don't know how to make you go completely. Oh, there we go. So before we go, Isra, I gave you one more chance. Oh no, you're just a fucking idiot. So everybody say bye. Say bye to the idiot. And pew. Bye bye. Bye bye. And 17, Clutch 17 is doing pretty decent. Now, back to the kink, then I'll get to Clutch 17. Sorry, got sidetracked. So we gave that one a home. Now we hatched another one this year that was a kink, and that was a bell. It was a bell male. And I don't know if it was truly a kink or if it was just like pythons will have a kind of a different, they have hip bones. You wouldn't think so, but they kind of do. It's right there where the spurs are. That bone's a little bit different shaped. It's where hips were and legs would be, 500 million years ago. So with that, we had one snake in particular that right there was a little bit enlarged. So I don't know if it's a kink or if it's just that bone was enlarged for some reason. As a matter of fact, I had two things I could have done. One, I could have not said shit, and I could have just fed it and got a pretty good size, and you'd have never known, right? But that would have been bullshit. So I don't do that. And so we disclosed it, and you can see films on it. We show it several times. And what we did with that is that was actually a Patreon giveaway. And now, that snake being a male, I don't think it'll be breeding it will impede anything, and I don't think it's going to have any problems doing that. If that was mine, I would probably give it a go simply because where the kink is located, and if it's because of the genetic combo being it's a super lesser, which aren't really known for that, but who knows? It will never pass on those genetics. It can only pass on one or the other. So it's not something I was overly concerned about. But that'll be who won its choice, and we definitely shared that. So there you are. We didn't do an April Fool's prank this year because one time, man, with everything going on, it was just well. Thank you, Nakash. Am I saying that wrong? Nikash Long. That's pretty awesome. I don't get too much love. So we just didn't have time. We had one we kind of talked about, but we just didn't get time to film it and everything else. So we'll work on something, especially next time April Fool's falls on a regular film release day. It doesn't work if it's not on your regular day because people know right away if you post on the wrong day, So I haven't seen that particular combo. Excuse me, the Spider Mojave Russo. You would think it'd be all white because of Russo Mojave, but if it keeps that spider pattern, that'd be pretty damn cool, actually. Yeah, I did just have that one out. The pairing for Clutch 17. So that was, oh god, I have to look at the computer. It was supposed to be a pinstripe to a banana. That was the pairing. However, hold on just a second on that Hades. He's in shed. However, we didn't, and it's not a tea party emblem. Nicholas, I'll get to that. We actually had retained sperm. So the banana wasn't the dad. It ended up being a pastel lesser from a previous year. I think we paired one time. And boom, there it is. So we've had a pretty good luck on that. And some of them are getting up to size. Like, some of them took a while. But this little one here, and you can see they're still kind of small. That one's finally starting to do well and look good and everything else. So that's always nice. And then it wasn't a huge clutch. Here's another one. This one was a slow starter, but she's doing good now. And then we have a few that are huge. So, and I've got one that is still really, really struggling. So, it just kind of depends, you know. And the one that's really struggling is going to come along. Let me show you guys another snake that was struggling. This was a struggling snake, if you remember. This was the one that just was not doing very well. We had to do a lot of assist feeding, and now it's doing great. Still looks thin, but you should have seen it. So this one's going to be okay. I have the utmost confidence in this little calader to make it now. This isn't the one that was kinked. This is the one that was fine, but just small, and then did not want to feed. And then we did have to palpate out some stuck. It was like a small hard belly we didn't notice early on. We had to get out, and then it's doing great. But that took a lot of work. And the point of that is they're worth doing the work. Definitely. So, all right. How do you buy a snake from us? You'd have to pretty much be on Patreon. It's probably the only way you're going to really find one. And yes, Stephanie, we do feed live. You should have been here a few minutes ago. You got to ban somebody. I had to do it. It was kind of fun. Oh, man. Inchy Let's Be Possible Orange Dream. About anything you want. Like, anything, well, let me hold that. Anything you want except for spider or champagne. Keep any spider out of that. Keep any champagne out of that. Hidden Gene Woman needs to be out of it. Things like that. So, and yeah, back to that question, Nicholas. It's not the Tea Party emblem. Okay, this has you got to go back into American history. This emblem and the one that I took it from, which is right there, does not come from the Tea Party. The Tea Party adopted it for a short time, as have many places. It actually came from the War of Our Independence. It was one of the first naval flags ever flown. It was presented to be that, and that is why. And the Join or Die flag also, there is one that says Join or Die that has the segmented rattlesnake, showing that the colonies were better together than apart. And there's also another one with red and white striping and an elongated rattlesnake that says Don't Tread on Me. So those come from the very beginning of our country, and they symbolize rebellion. They symbolize, kind of like doing this to the English. Not today. Sorry, balls, dude. That wasn't for you. But back in the day when we're like, we ain't going to pay your taxes. We ain't going to take any more of your shit. And we're not going to answer to a king or queen. They can piss off. So that's where that flag comes from. And that's where that symbol comes from. So it usually is adopted for revolution and for change and for rebellion. So that's why I chose it. Why isn't Kurt with me? Because he's with his own family today. And live ones, he's usually not here. And she doesn't seem to want to eat. Yes, from the UK. Sorry, I wasn't flipping the bird to all the UK, just back in the day. King George and all. Anyway, try a mouse, try a live mouse. But you're in the UK, so I know you can't probably do that. So just don't tell anybody, but try a live mouse. Right now, there's not a list on Patreon, but when we do the next clutch update and go through that, then we'll get another list together. So my reasoning for feeding live, Amanda, that's a good question. And I will tell you, there's a couple different reasons. One is, I'll give you three reasons. Two of them are good, one of them is not so good. The one that's not so good is it's quicker. When you breed live, it's much quicker to breed them and feed them than it is to breed them, kill them, and feed them. That's the truth. The two good reasons are, one, I have a higher success rate of feeding, a much higher success rate. So I can put it in there, give it some privacy, and let it do its thing, and then check out everything's good. So I am a big believer in that. We work SK line. The third reason is waste. So when you have frozen thaw, if I'm going to feed 10 snakes and I thaw out 10 rats and then 3 of them don't eat, I got to refreeze them or get rid of them. And I can only refreeze them once, and there's messes and other shit, and I don't like messing with it. So with live, if they don't eat, we just simply take them back to the breeding bins and put them back in the for sale bin. Not a problem, no harm, no foul. So there's a lot less wasted life with feeding live. A couple of the drawbacks are, one, you do have to check and make sure your snakes don't get bit. If they got, you can, some people whatever, some people do it once, it's just one of those things. I'll tell you though, you do weaken a lot when you refreeze. My big carpet female who passed a few years ago, she would literally blow one apart if it was refrozen. If I thawed it too fast, she would blow it apart. So yeah, not that I know of on Blackhead. Blackhead actually is a lilac with spider and fixes wobble. But then once you breed the blackhead spider, anything with spider is going to have wobble. So it doesn't like fix it, like make it go away forever. It makes it go away in that one snake. So anyway, we'll say hi to Isaac then. We'll do that. Animal abuse, I know, right? Designer morphs like JKR. Yes, see, JKR, that guy, I like Justin. And if anybody that I look at in the reptile hobby and say that's where I want to be is probably Justin. And the reason is, that's not a knock on Brian, so nobody take it that way. I don't want to ever be that big. I don't want to have a bunch of employees. I don't want to have to separate myself and do more business. I'd rather do more of this and less business. So JKR is about where I kind of want to be. Maybe have to have one guy help out some, maybe none, and just do that. And so, yes, I would say we do that now. Now are we at the same level he's out on it? Not always, no. But it's just, yeah. Our Calico Blitz, I'm telling you, that's going to be some designer stuff. We're working with Blitz. We're working on some really cool things and things that I want to do, but it's all projects. And where you separate yourself, I think, is in choosing your holdbacks wisely, and it's not just a morph. It's the right example of the morph for what you want to do. And that makes it very, very important. Choose you for what, David? So anyway, that's kind of where I'm kind of at. So sunsets maybe eventually, but probably not right now. Is my snake shed yet after breeding? Oh, is that a question I missed? Probably, I think. So to pair with banana, I can tell you I'm going to take banana to Masuma. So we got this female banana here, who should be ready next year to breed, hopefully. She's one of my own production. Oh, come here, Molly. And you can see she is fantastic. Colors have held really, really well. Really, really nice. And we're going to definitely put Suma to that. So that means anything that's banana will be mahogany banana. And that'll be where we're going to go. So anyway, kind of what we're looking at. So lots of stuff we can do. My day jobs, I work in law enforcement. So I've been a police officer for about 19 years. That's why, people are like, oh, you're getting angry easy. I'm like, no, I'm just animated, but ain't no shit anybody gonna stand out here. I ain't dealt with the worst. So trust me, I've dealt with the worst. So a G-stripe to a pastel, best would be pastel het G-stripe, because G-stripe is going to be a recessive, I believe. So everything should be het, and that'll go there. Well, I appreciate that, Debbie, but y'all pay me for it. So, I look at law enforcement. It's been a career I've had for a long time. I love it. And Beth, I do see your comment, but I just now saw that one. So I know I'm going to have to lower his projects, David, because sometimes comments come in so fast I miss some. Oh, that's a good question. If you want to start breeding in 5 years, preparing for now, buy females. Okay, if you're going to buy, say you're going to want to breed with a collection of 10 snakes, you should be trying to get your 6 to 7 to 8 females right now. That's what you should be doing. Probably 7 females and 3 males. But get your females first, and then get your caging. Get your rodents figured out. That's where it is. And Mystic, I don't know if it grays out the combos. I mean, the only thing I've really used Mystic for was Mystic Potions. That's kind of why I got into them. So I don't know if it's going to do over time or not, but that's a good question. So sells best in my experience. I just had the banana out. Here's the thing on I don't even know what TikTok is, but on that. What sells best is going to be what you like the most, right? And what I mean by that is, for me, what sells best, and any of the people who are on Patreon can tell you this is the fact, is Xanthic. When I put my Xanthic up for sale, it was gone in probably less than a minute. All of them. Gone. And there's a reason for that. Because that's what I'm the most passionate about, and that's what I like the best. That's probably what I'm the most picky about, and that comes through when you talk to customers. So if you are really, really into champagne, your champagnes will sell the best. If you're really, really into Orange Dream, your Orange Dreams are going to sell the best. And that's where it's going to be. So I know I need a new sign, but yes, they are still having sex. We are still getting locks. We're not pairing as hard now. We're getting a few last pairings in. And yeah, but they are still, oh yeah. We haven't changed any of that because hopefully the next thing will be another moving day and you're going to start seeing this room begin to empty out. Nothing, Audrey, nothing. Coral Glow Banana, same thing. Yeah, there's some that haven't been made, and there's also some that nobody ever just sent in. Like, we made the Shits, which was a champagne blitz, and I sent that in. We made the Clits. Hell, I've made 3 Clits, which is a calico blitz, and I've never sent that in. So, you know, it is. I need to send it in, but we're also so like, we're gonna pair a bunch of stuff off that and going to. My opinion on African soft furs, I freaking love them. They help things eat that don't eat, so I like them. And I do have a champagne, but I think she's in shed right now. I've got 2, actually. Yeah, she's in shed, and she's probably in her pre-lay, so I'm gonna leave her be. The other one is got a really beautiful ring around her tail. She's already laid, so she's moved to the cabin. And eventually, these videos will be filmed in the cabin, so everything will move over there, which I'm really looking forward to. Because then I'll be able to show you everything that's over there, and yeah. 2 months since what, Amber? Usually what you look for is you'll see them, they look like they ate a football, then they'll disappear and they'll shed. And after that shed, you got about 30 days. We've already started doing Patreon giveaways, Devin. We just gave away a bell not too long ago, and I'm sure we'll be doing more in the near future. So it's going to happen. Somebody said, good question, Duck, but I don't see Duck. What was the question? So if there was a good question, Drew, let me know. And by the way, I'm guessing Drew is actually short for Andrew, so everybody say thanks to him, because that beautiful Gaboon Viper you get to see, he's the one that sent it to us for display. So big thanks to him. I haven't seen Acanthus, and I've got Het Red Exanthic now, but I haven't done a lot of research on it. It was kind of a spur of the moment purchase because Kurt wanted to get it because he knew about it more than I did, which on snakes is unusual. On rats is normal, but he's way above me on that, and usually I'm the one who's leading on this. But he was like, well, that's a lilac with black pastel. I'm like, oh shit, well then let's, you make a decision and you go for it. So I haven't decided what direction I'm going to take that in yet, but we do have it. Now, as far as the Blitz versus Hurricane, awesome. We might let you do that. The only thing I want to say, again, thanks for the donation there, Oreo, is we're not doing it like all at once. So it's piecemeal together. And what I mean is, as females lay and we can move stuff, we move it. And I don't want to stress my breeding females. So we're going really slow on that. It's a belief that if I take them and I move them now, and they're kind of in that tedious spot, that they may very well reabsorb, and then they won't lay for me. So what I want to do is I have to move them after they lay anyway to get them in clean, fresh tub. So as they lay, they move, right? And we're just going to kind of roll through it that way. We may have a big moving day where we might use some help, but we will see when we get there. So, yeah. My Patreon work, it's not a video per month. So here's how Patreon works. We're trying to get caught up on some things we kind of sucked at, which is like getting our t-shirts out on there. But every time I do a YouTube video, Patreon gets an exclusive video. So there's 2 videos. If I do a live video like this, they're going to get that too, right? And then moral support, thank you. And I'll get back to the Blitz vs. Hurricane. So they're going to get that. They're also going to get a video every level, $1 and up on Saturday, almost every Saturday. We've had to push it to Sunday a few times because it's running late for a Feed Your Fiend. They're also going to get random posts from me throughout the week. So I try to put content on there at least 6 to 7 times a week that they're going to get content. Not always a video, but 3 videos a week and usually 3 posts a week with photos. So that's what happens there. Plus they get the first access. They get show discounts. Not that we ever have to go to shows, so they buy them all in the first access. They get discounts on products, so I'm able to score that, which so far, they get discounts on TGR racks. All the time. They did get a discount on Herp Stats. I'm working on another discount now, but some things got delayed, so I'm trying. So we do try to get them other things like that. So that's kind of how it works. Thank you, Nem Studios. I appreciate that. And here's what I'll tell people. If you want to try it, try it. Because I know there's been some posts on how Patreon is this and that. Try it. If you were to go to Patreon now and say, let's say it's 15th, right? Yeah, because you got to pay your damn taxes today, right? Go and you can sign up. You go through the hoop to get signed up. And then you could wait a week, and you could see in a week if you like the content, and if you like what we do on there, and you like the community, because there's a community tab where you can get help too without getting stomped on like people do on Facebook. And David, I know you're talking about the darkness. Don't steal my darkness. Then stay. And if you don't like the content, and you don't like the community, and you think this isn't for me, or it's not, I'm not getting my $5 out of it, or 10, or whatever level you sign up on, then if you leave before the end of the month, guess what it's going to do? It's not going to charge you. So you can kind of check it for free, right? And I recommend you do that. And if it's not for you, that's okay. A lot of people have left, but a lot of more people have come. It does have a cap, and we are not quite halfway to the cap, but it will get to the cap, I hope. And that cap is 810 people. We were not planning on raising that cap. And yes, you could probably get your shirt. We need to do an order and get all that together. We just had to pay taxes. That shit sucked. It should be. Hopefully, I've had people say it's come down and gone back up and come down. I think Patreon's trying to make some changes, hopefully for the better. I know posting pictures is a pain in the ass on there for people, and some of that. So some things that are kind of janky, not my fault. I don't do that part. But you also, we try to get everything that's posted in the community when we can. So, I don't get to every comment here. We'll do a live here for just Patreon members when it's about 9 minutes, and we'll get to every single person. So there it is. That's why it's great. That's why I like it. But anyway, and I am still pairing the darkness, and she is still locking. And sometimes, Dave, I'll get a lot of those few feeds right before they go boom. So hopefully we will end up still having babies from her. I'm hoping. We'll see. Now on the Hurricane and what was the other one? Blitz. Yeah, Blitz Hurricane. I don't know. Like, they look very similar to me, but I've never got to see Hurricanes in person. We have a few Patreon members that have Hurricanes, that they imported them from England, and I think it was England. It was overseas, and they really, really liked them. So it'll be very interesting to see, and what's going to happen is have to be bred together and see if they make the super version. And there is a super version of both. The Blitzkrieg for the Blitz, and I don't know what they call the Hurricane Super. Maybe I would know. I would call it like Storm of the Century. That's just me, but I don't know what they actually call it. So, but they do look very similar. So it could be that they're the same thing. It could also be like Black Pastel and Cinnamon. They look similar, but you get them side by side, there's differences, and they're not the same, but they're allelic. And it could be that they just look similar and aren't allelic at all, but we won't know until somebody takes both and breeds together. So, Super Hurricane Tsunami, that's a good name too. So that's kind of where it is. So I don't have the exact answer for you, but what I would say is, we've been down this road before. We've been down this road with Lesser Butter. We've been down this road with Banana Coral Glow, right? We've been down this road with Mystic, and there's another one that's the same as Mystic. But we've also been down this road, had them not be the same. So there's no way to really know. So it's kind of where it is. Gaia the Gaboon Viper, we haven't got that name yet. We'll probably pick about 7 or 8, maybe 5, maybe 4 entries. We'll probably do a poll on Patreon with it. If anybody's into Kansas, Missouri, let me know. Well, hey, Devin, we're in Manhattan, so that's the purple. It's going to darken it up. That's what it's going to do, Shayla. And the other thing is that one of our goals is to get to an all purple snake. We may have it with the black pastel banana, because we're doing super black pastel bananas. But if our incubation experiment to make those stable does not work, I'm not going to do it again. Like, I want to take my shot and try it my way, see if it works. If not, then we're done. We won't be doing pairings at Kink a lot. But if we can't do that, then I've got my backup plan to get to all purple, which would be Suma to banana, to get a female, because that banana will throw females because she's a female. So to get a female banana mahogany, and then Suma back to that to hit Suma bananas, and they should be like all purple. So that's kind of where we're going. I also want to do some Suma black pastels, so we'll probably be doing that as well. So if we hit over here and we get a solid purple, we'll be keeping one of those. A super black banana, yes, but part of that I think is camera, because I've seen some others and they'll be that light lavender. They won't be tan. If they shouldn't be. Now, if you do cinnamon, it lightens it up a little bit, but I think we should get the lavender. So that's what I'm shooting for. And if it doesn't work there, we're going to do it right over here. Trust me, I'll get there. It may take me 10 years, but trust me, I'll get there. And a lightning pied, I haven't started that project yet. I've got some other pied projects in the works. One of them is to make my wife very happy, and that is to make a pumpkin pie. So we're working on that. And I haven't done Xantha. What's up, DA? I don't know if you were here earlier, but we were talking about you, man. Your ears are probably burning. So, yeah, we probably will. I don't know what we'll do on that front, man. I really don't. There's so many different options to go towards, but lightning pied is a ways off for us, and it's just not where we're taking those projects. To work out the wildwood, I don't think you can. I don't think it's ever going to go away. However, it was all good. They were asking if I watched any other channels, and I say, actually, I watch your live a lot of nights because I can talk to people in there. But the wobble and spiders has really been so overblown. And every time I cover this, I get a bunch of people bitching at me. But it's true. You go to people who work with a lot of spider, they don't have those problems. Okay? It's only the people that have, like, I've got this rescue snake from some guy in the back alley who was probably on smack. And they have that, and this animal was probably kept like utter shit, and then it's got problems. Like, go figure. But the wobble is there. I mean, it's there. I'm not denying it. Like, it's there. But I don't think in the vast majority, 99.999% of spiders, it's ever going to be a problem if you care for them properly to a quality of life issue. That's just where I'm at. And, you know, it's just one of those things. So, Visual SK Xanthic is the way to go. All right, guys. I got just a couple more minutes before I have to pop out of here, pop over to Patreon, then I'm going to pop out of there and go eat dinner. So if we have a few more questions, let's hear them, and we'll go from there. And I do love the DA Live, too. It's kind of a fun conversation, easy going, and I kind of enjoy that. And he didn't ever get haters he has to block. Man, we had to kick a guy out earlier. It was kind of fun. Diablo, yes, maybe. And what I mean by yes, maybe, is the original spider that was imported, and I don't remember who imported it. Ended up in Kevin's hands anyway. And, you know, Kevin's the one that's kind of started the spider thing. We were talking way back in the 90s. This has been around forever. And so it's been around. It's been around. But I have heard of another one that is in the wild that's ready to be imported if somebody wants to import it. But I don't know if anybody's imported it. Could it be that maybe that one won't wobble, and then we can maybe? Personally, I think it's connected. And the reason I really do think it's connected is there's a lot of other genes that have that connection too. Champagne, you know, HGW, all these things that are known to have a little bit of quirkiness to them. And if you breed those together, you end up with dead babies. So that tells me there's something going on with those genes together. So, yeah. I haven't named the scaleless diamondback, but I probably will. I just haven't got around to it yet. Well, thank you, Moto, for becoming a Patreon. And stick around, because we're going to do a live Patreon video here in just a few minutes. So, I haven't done shows in Texas, but we probably will. And they kind of are steak for your snake. They're actually more like crack cocaine if they won't eat. A lot of times that'll fix it. So, I don't think so, Amanda, but I've heard it's being worked on. So it may come one day, but not yet. So, well, thank you. And that will get you a shirt in 6 months plus shipping discounts. We have stuff to go. All right, guys, I'm going to hop off of here so I can slide over to Patreon and go live with those folks for a few. And how do we continue to live Patreon? What we'll do is on Patreon, I will post a link, and you'll just simply click that link and go to the YouTube, and it'll be a private YouTube where you can't watch it unless you have the link. Pretty simple. So you'll want to watch it on YouTube because I see the comments on YouTube. So don't watch it on Patreon, but make sure and click the little YouTube in the corner and watch it on YouTube. All right, guys, I'll be right back over there, and I will see you in a bit.